everybody? Scuffy here, and it's May 28th. It's time to catch up on some Lodge Wars 4. It has been a while. It has been a while since I've had the time to actually dive in, get into challenge, and check the standings. So we are currently, well, I don't know where we're at in terms of how far it's progressed. I believe we're in the semifinals or the playoffs. Let me pull up. You can't see this here. I'm going to challenge.com. How do you spell challenge? Challonge. It's a website that the tournament organizers in the community use to organize all the tournaments. Surprise, surprise. We've used it for the World Cup, various like the weekly tournaments they use it for. I believe it was used for Lodge Wars 2 and 3, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. At that time I wasn't too familiar with it. I've used it for the Bar Night Legions, which I'd like to get started again. Yeah, it's hard right now to be able to do that, some things, given the situation, given the way the world is. But regardless of the fact, here we are. Let me find Lodge Wars 4 tournament and see where we're at with the start. Tryouts, that's the tryouts. I apologize. The problem with 32 participants, the problem with the a tournament that's very long-standing is when you have a tournament that's long-standing, that's not decided in a week, eventually it ends up getting now this looks to be the single elimination here team. It ends up getting to be buried under the new and updated tournaments. So I'm just gonna have to search for it because I don't think I'm gonna find what I'm looking for here. So Lodge Wars 4. I should probably take the number 4 out, shouldn't I? How about just Lodge Wars? Oh, golly gums. The only thing I'm getting here right now, guys, and I apologize, the group stage, there we go. There we go. Okay. Probably should have done all this again. Cut. So, we're on challenge.com to view Lodge War standings. This is going to be dead a little bit here in a sec, but I don't have a chance to go through and do the warlord breakdowns. A lot of the time and effort and data that I had to do a warlord breakdown list that I had intended to do for Lodge Wars 4 that I did for World Cup, I've not been able to do that, so I've lost a lot of opportunities. So really what we're doing here is we're playing to catch up. The way Lodge Wars 4 worked, if you remember correctly, when this all started, I did a video, and if you don't, then here's the data right now. So Lodge Wars 4 is a collection of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 36 different lodges. 36 different lodges, which 3-man teams, and they're all played based off of the conquest format. So it's a kind of a best 2 out of 3. You've got 3 players. You've got 9 different warlords. None of those warlords can be from the same faction. So if you've got 2 players who've got a Death Guard and a Sons of Horus and a Raven Guard and a Night Lord, your 3rd player has to pick warlords that aren't any of those. And therefore you develop a team and kind of wage it off of who has what, who has access to what cards, and go from there. So the first several weeks, I believe there was 3 weeks worth, the brackets were divided into groups of 4. There were 9 groups of 4. And all of those lodges that were in those groups played to determine the best 2 of those groups that would advance into the playoffs, and then the playoffs would become a single elimination bracket to determine the winners. What do the winners get? Well, typically the winners of the Lodge Wars tournament get some golden glory. They also generally get a legendary card of their choice, which is great for those players who have, looking to pick up a Primarch or one legendary that they just haven't been able to pick up in a crate. Just like any tournament, it's a great way to get cards and collect cards. With the World Cup, and I believe it is rumored, though not 100% confirmed, the World Cup players who made the playoffs and who also became champions received different variants here of an alternate art card back. This is the Blood Games card back. It was in the playoffs, so we received the silver version. And then I believe the first place team received a gold, and then the runners-up. Were we runners-up? Maybe that's why we're like in the top 8. And we got the silver, and then everybody else got the bronze, and then obviously the first and second got the gold or something like that. Whatever the case may be, there you go. That's the Blood Games Cup that we got for World Cup. I'm not sure if the participants of Lodge Wars 4 will receive a card back like this exact one, or a different one. But that is a prize. That is a prize to be held. And if you ever come across a player playing this card back, now you know where they got that from. It came exclusively from tournaments, not just tournaments, but from being on a winning team for the tournaments. So, how do we get to where we were at? Well, first off, we had a bracket that was composed of all the lodges. There was 36 different lodges. There's quite a few lodges here. I'm just going to name off the lodges that advanced to the playoff stage, and then I will talk about where we are currently in the playoff stage to kind of go from there. So first off, we had the Iron Hands and Seekers 2 advancing from one bracket. And that's interesting to note in that bracket. What's interesting to note in that bracket is that Wa and Malkador's Chosen did not advance. Now, both of those are very solid, well-known lodges. So are Iron Hands and Seekers too. That's just the way competition works. Also advancing are Luna Wolves Lodge and Malkador's Elites. But not advancing are Officio Sassinorum and Puños Sangrientos. Now, if these names sound familiar, they should if you play frequently or you play often, because many of these lodges here are in the top lodges of the game. There's 50 here listed. This is the top 50. I believe all, or just about all, 36 of the participants are in these top 50 lodges, so that should come as no surprise. For instance, here you've got Wa, number 10, did not advance. Number 11 did advance. They were in a different group. And then the next group, we had Seekers 10 and Masterclass advancing, while the Brotherhood and Orion did not advance. So again, the Brotherhood, you got number 3, did not advance. Masterclass did advance. Orion is our auxiliary lodge, and they did not advance. From another bracket, we had Pure Power and the Praetorians. Now, those are relatively newer lodges, but they are still up in here. In the lodges, you've got Praetorians at number 24, and Pure Power, I know I've seen here, there they are. Boom, number 35. They advanced over Lord Adornable and Adeptus Astartes. Then coming into the next bracket, Master Crafted and Knights Errant, I believe it is. It's in Russian, but they're a long-standing Russian lodge, actually, if I can find them. Right there, number 7. Number 7 and Master Crafted advanced over Seekers 5 and Master Debaters. And Master Debaters, if I remember correctly, and I'll have to go back and check, and somebody could probably find out, I believe Master Debaters actually was the winners of either Lodge Wars 2 or Lodge Wars 3. So, might be a completely different team, but in terms of lodge name, that's who won, that's who represented. Trader's End took 3rd place in both Lodge Wars 2 and Lodge Wars 3. So hopefully this Lodge Wars we will be beyond 3rd place. So we're still in it, because we did advance along with Vermintide, who was in our bracket. We advanced over Fragile Art, which is another one of our auxiliary lodges, and Ironborn, which is a Russian lodge. So both Vermintide and Trader's End advanced. Next up, in the other bracket, Seekers 4 and Orphans of War, which is a number 6, again, top lodge, advanced over Legio 9 Hispania and Legiones Perdidas. And I believe Legiones Perdidas is a little bit new. I'm not sure how long Legio 9 Hispania has been, but these are, again, lodges that you may have seen, lodges that you may be familiar with. Many of these lodges here that we're seeing out of the top 50, obviously at least 14 of them are not, did not play, which is unfortunate, but there's, it's just a matter of getting the word out. You've got global players, you've got a lot of people who maybe just don't know. And then finally, Seekers 3 and Seekers, I guess Seekers Prime, Seekers 0, whatever you want to call them, also advanced. They eliminated Masters of the Universe and New Zealand Steel Legion. So our playoffs, then we go into the playoff stage, which is currently where we're at here. We are actually in, I believe as soon as this current matches get matched up, I guess we'll be into the semifinals. So that's very interesting. But right now, round 1, which took place 2 weeks ago, Seekers team, just Seekers, advanced over the Iron Hands. So they beat the Iron Hands and they advanced, while their compatriots in Seekers 4 beat out Malcador's Elites and they advanced. And right now we're waiting on the results of their head-to-head game, Seekers versus Seekers 4. Seekers 10, that's 3 Seekers, advanced over Vermintide. And they are currently set to square off, and we're waiting results against their opponent, who is the Knights Errant over the Praetorians. So in round 2, currently in 2 of the 4 brackets, we have got 4 Russian teams squaring off against each other here. The next bracket down, Luna Wolves Lodge lost out to Orphans of War. So Orphans of War advanced, and Orphans of War is currently, we're still waiting on results against their matchup with Seekers 3. Seekers 3 beat Seekers 2. So far, 6 lodges. Of those 6, we have 5 Russian lodges. That's amazing. This is, there's a lot of global players all over the place. We know that the Russian base of players is very large, but here we go. So currently we've got 36 lodges globally, different countries, different players all over the place. But advancing into the playoffs and advancing to the second round, there's actually 5 of the 6 that are Russian. Which brings us to the last bracket, which ended up being Pure Power beating out Mastercrafted, and they moved to square off against us. And Trader's End bested out Masterclass in the first round. So Trader's End advanced, and we have advanced to the next bracket to square off against Pure Power. Presently, we have beaten Pure Power, and so Trader's End has advanced to the semifinals. We are the only team currently at this point with results showing. I don't know, I haven't looked into the server or the Discord and discussion to see if the other teams have resulted, or to see if we're waiting for like one game from each. How is the matchup going? We had just at this point in the single elimination stage, it's just 2 of your 3 players need to win their game in order to advance. So we have advanced. Trader's End is in the semifinals. So long as we win our next game, we'll be in the top 3. Otherwise, we'll have to play off. Well, if we win our next game, we'll be first or second. Way to go. If we lose, then we'll have to battle for third. Hopefully, the team does not lose and the guys pull through. And I got to tell you, our team players, we got some solid players in our team. Very proud. Alex87, Cobaltan, and Guard Buddy are solid players. Know what they're doing. We've had many a discussion. Had I think Guard Buddy on. We tried to do a terrible audio warp chatter with Guard Buddy there, but these guys have been solid players. It's a solid team, and I think they've really represented and rocked out pretty hard. So looking forward to seeing how they head up in the semifinals against either Orphans of War or Seekers 3. Depending on who wins that matchup will be who faces off against our team. And then obviously who wins the bracket between Seekers 1, Seekers 4, and Seekers 10 and Knights Errant will determine who they head up. So it could be very interesting to see going into the semifinals. We're definitely going to have at least 2 Russian teams in the other bracket. Are we going to have Orphans of War facing off against Trader's End, or are we going to have Seekers 3, another Russian team, facing off against Trader's End? Now, I don't know if all the members in the Seekers and the Russian lodges are all Russian or not. They've just got Russian characters for their names. I imagine a majority of them are. It's easier to communicate with those who speak the same language, so it's understandable. But I think it's really kind of cool to see, because actually Lodge Wars 4, coming off of World Cup tournament, this is actually the first Lodge Wars that we've really had with global lodges. I was always open to all lodges, but due to communication and the different servers and discords that the other groups used, I only think we ever saw like one or two of the Spanish lodges in the previous Lodge Wars, and this is the first time where we've really seen a massive output in terms of the Russian players who have joined, not just from playing the World Cup, but then seeking to play in Lodge Wars and multiple lodges. So I think it's really cool to see the community pick up and take off in that way, from just a pocket of, maybe it used to be 16 lodges, and I think it was more than 16, but I'm just using the sample number, and now we're at 36. Very cool. So I haven't done an analysis, and I'd have to take a look back through posts and Discord to see, of the teams that are remaining, what their warlord choices are. I'm going to hold off on all that. I definitely will take a look at the winning top 3 lodges and see what their teams are comprised of. But I don't think it necessarily matters, because you're just dealing with top players who've played consistently. Now, if all 3 teams have got the same 9 warlords, then that's a good evidence that you've got some solid warlord choices there. But it's a team effort, it's a team strategy, and ultimately in a tournament environment, you can't just say one warlord performs. Two of your warlords, both of your warlords, you have to win with, so they both have to perform to some degree. So it's just kind of neat to see how that goes. So, Lodge Wars 4. Catching everybody back up, catching myself back up, because it's been that long since I've actually had a chance to take a look at the brackets. I think we're there. I'm very curious to see if we're going to get results at the end of this week or next week for these semifinals. And I will do the best that I can to try to make sure I do a timely update when that comes to it, when we get that information. So, thank you. I hope that information was useful and didn't really get to see gameplay. I mean, I guess I could have had some games playing in the background while I was talking. I'll try to work on that next time. Put some funny pictures, little memes, some text, give you something else to look at as opposed to just listening to my voice. But it is what it is. It's a shorter video, bringing you up to speed. If you're not aware, you can go to challenge.com and check it out yourself. I always have to say it like that. It's just something in my head just makes me want to say it like challenge. It's fancy. It's fancy. Really quick shout out to the Banda. To the Banda. I've only been, I don't know, 4 hours? Maybe, since I've been playing with him. I'm off work now. I'm chilling and having fun with this guy. Only 5 games in, but they were fun 5 games. Practice, looking to move him into some ladder here in the next day or two. Definitely going to tweak it, though. I mean, we're just playing with cards right now, but I'm very thankful and glad to see that deal out there. I hope that Skulls for the Skull Throne event, not just in this game, just in general, for players who want to get in on some action. It's a great way to do it. There is not a lot of massive thought required for Banda, unlike many of the warlords. There are several warlords who just play cards, man. And I think for those people who want instant gratification, there's nothing wrong with that. I think the Ruinstorm is a decent faction, given their balances and their limitations. And I think as time goes on, there's room for improvement, whether that be adjusting up or down. So it's a good entry point for players who have been away from the game for a while, want to get back in, or want to check something new out, or let's just face it, have always been diehard 40k Corn fans, and they don't have Angron. Well, you get the next best thing. How about a Bloodthirster? How about a Bloodthirster who fought toe-to-toe with Sanguinius and knocked him out in round 1? No, I'm not talking smack on the Sanguinius. He has his place, which is on his back at the foot of Horus. No. I like Sanguinius. He's a cool character. He was one of the good ones. Rest in peace, sweet Lord. But if he can't get, if he got to Kabandha's pretty tops, you got to recognize, you got to recognize. So, all right, guys, that's it for me. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I hope that information with regards to Lodge Wars 4 was something you're interested up on. I really feel like it took me for a long time to get to this point, and I don't want to be slacking again, so I'm going to try to hit up as soon as I can once we have updates on this semifinals round, because I'm excited. I'm excited for our team. I'm excited for Global, and really just I don't even know what's going to come after Lodge Wars 4, if we're going to get another big tournament series or we're going to get a couple other small I don't know. But I'm going to be bringing the news to you whichever way it goes. So until then, keep playing Legions, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.